If
Right.
you're working a job, you are kind of at the mercy of the boss. If you are an entrepreneur and you're the boss, then you're at your own mercy. In the prelude to us just starting here a few minutes ago, there were some very good points that he was making about that. Is you're only limited by your imagination and your desire. You're not limited by possibilities because they're endless. And so, whatever fields you're pursuing, that's all good. But the question is, how do you preserve money once you've made it, and how do you leverage it? And those are the two things I think we should focus on in our discussion uh, for this, group of people that I believe you have on right now. Do you agree?
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay. So let me just give my quick philosophy, then maybe I'll turn it over to Tony, and we can introduce him a little bit to the people who haven't seen him the last couple weeks. Um, my method of operation is have a good defense against a struggling economy and have a great offense again to leverage assets. And if you just do one without the other, it's problematic. For example, if you just try to leverage assets and you have nothing to leverage, you don't get anywhere. If you're just playing defense, then you can't gain on the economy that's taking the money out of your bank account. I just did a webinar for a group of mobile home investors, a bunch of like-minded people who have mobile homes, okay, and parks, and Tony was on that with me, and what that group had is they tend to keep a slush fund of money for expenses, things like when a water heater breaks or goes bad, when you have to replace an oven or a stove, or you have to replace a fridge, when plumbing breaks underneath the units and you got to fix it. There's always unexpected expenses, and if people are taking their income from rents and just putting it in the bank and or spending it on other things, they don't have the money when it comes time to make those expense adjustments. So what I have done, because I've owned mobile home parks too and a lot of other real estate, is when I have positive cash flow, I put it in another bank account, but I transfer that bank account into gold and silver, and then I keep it as bullion. Then what happens is when the dollar loses its buying power, then my bullion is gaining buying power because it's going up. The bullion, gold and silver go up when the dollar goes down. Right now, the dollar is going down. There is no question. And the reason the dollar is going down, and I'm just giving history background for everybody, is if you go to the supermarket and you're paying more for the exact same stuff, it didn't cost those people more money to raise a cow. It didn't cost that chicken any extra food to lay the eggs. The bottom line is the dollar is going down in buying power, so it takes more of them to buy a given good. And so we see it as a price increase, but what it really is the dollar losing value. Now, if you've got $100,000 sitting in the bank and it's losing 10%, you're losing $10,000. That's real money. That's real buying power. What could you have bought for that 10,000? So whether it's 100 grand or whether it's $100, if you convert it to metals, the question is, how do you go buy 12 eggs for a bar of silver, okay, or a coin or a silver dollar, something like that? How do you do it? If I collect a silver bar and something like this, I keep it in a little plastic so it stays nice and shiny. But you can't walk up to a vendor and just hand them the silver bar. It just doesn't. They're not equipped for that. They're not. They don't know what to do, and it's really hard to turn these back when you have them in your physical possession, turn them back into cash. But if you have it in a private vault that's liquid, you can instantly press a button. We do that with this company called 7K, and it's the only one I know of that does that. And they pay the highest dollars back to you when you convert from your metal to dollars, and then it goes right out to wherever you want. You can go to your bank account, you can pay some other person. There's a lot of different options for you. So this is the backbone of leverage. I see Jesse say she's doing it too. How many other, how many people just by maybe a chat, put a yes in the chat if you guys think what I just said made any sense. I just want to see if I'm communicating well. Okay. All right. Thank you. Hey, Teresa, good to see you. All right. Okay, this is excellent. Nice responses. Thank you, everybody. So now that we have that established, the question is, how do you acquire that? So I'm going to turn that over to Tony to maybe discuss a little bit of his background and how he transitioned into wanting to, protect against the dollar going down. Then we can come back and talk about how do you leverage against your account to make it rise faster. Okay.
All right, Scott, appreciate that, man. And as always, you do such an excellent job of reducing it to the ridiculous so people can really understand the concept. And the thing I love about it, I've been blessed. I've been an entrepreneur for the last 20 years, mostly part time. For the last 10 years, I've been a full time entrepreneur. And but I remember I began to start protecting my wealth back in 2008 when a friend of mine just gave me a phone call and said, "Listen, I don't know if you understand what's happening with the dollar, but I'm talking to all the people I love and respect, and say you need to be protecting it with precious metals, you know." And so I started buying silver eagles back in 2008, like $500 worth every other month, and that's how I initially started acquiring precious metals. And then when I got involved in what Scott's going to be talking about in just a little bit, the leveraged income from the networking aspect of it, then I began to learn that's two sides to that story as far as precious metals. You know, that's the defense part of it. And and I think we all know as far as life is concerned, as far as business is concerned, we're never going to get ahead if all we do is just play defense. But bullion, that's what that is. I mean, this is a 100-ounce silver bar. You know, this protects my wealth. Historically, this is as inflation rises, so does the value of physical gold and silver. You know, I named this when I call this some Big Bertha. You know, I mean, we kind of hung out for a while. You know, and so bullion is a defense. It's a way to protect your wealth. You know, but the growing aspect of it, how you multiply and how you basically explode your wealth, is the collectible side of it. And they say in America, 90% of Americans collect something. And the thing I love about the company 7K Metals is that how would you like to collect an asset every single month that will always have value? So it's like Christmas several times a month. Me and the FedEx guy have gotten pretty close over the last several years. You know, to have collectibles like, right now the latest American series that they're doing in the company is the Abraham Lincoln. And this is the first of a series of 9 coins that they're going to produce. And this is called the early studies of Abraham Lincoln. There's only 5,000 of these coins in the world. Okay, and so the fact that it's a limited mintage, which is one of the biggest things that affects the value of a collectible coin, the lower the mintage, typically the higher the value of the return if you're going to get from that. And so I like the fact I can have collectible coins as well as bullion because collectibles is the way you actually multiply your wealth. You know, if you look at that was a study done by Inc. magazine in 2008, and they said how the wealthy protected and how they multiplied their wealth during the time in 2008 where everybody was literally losing their shorts. Was there were 5 different items that they had, and one of those was a collectibles as far as gold and silver and fine art. And these coins would fall in that category as far as fine art is concerned. To be able to purchase something and within a month's time to have it see it double and sometimes triple in value is nothing short of amazing. And the thing I love about it through this company is that it makes it affordable. You know, like a Sam's Club, like a Costco. That membership affords you the ability to buy as little as you want, as much as you want, whenever you want, and you get a chance to put your wealth on autopilot. And I love that about this company, 7K Metals. Back to you, Scott.
Absolutely right. And I want to expand a little bit on collectibles because, frankly, most people don't understand it. If you're talking about fine art, you're thinking of paintings in the museums or lent from private collectors to museums. those things are tens or hundreds of millions of dollars, and um, most people just don't have that. I say most, almost everybody doesn't have that. And then you have like collector cards, like baseball cards. You know, I've been a big baseball card collector. And I always found that when they're just like this isn't one, but it's just a card. When it could have beat up corners, it could be not perfect. And when they're not perfect, then collectors don't want them. What they want is perfection. And that is something in the coin collecting world called MS70. Okay. Um, Hi, Colleen. I couldn't help but read your comment. Uh, I hope everybody buys your art and everybody, makes a gazillion dollars from holding your paintings. I think what I really want to make clear is in the coin world, most people don't understand what a truly collectible coin is and how little they could be gotten for, and what they can go up to. Um, the I started collecting coins in 1987 when my daughter was born, and I bought these proof sets from the U.S. Mint, and I'll bet you guys have seen them. They have like a penny, a nickel, a dime, a quarter, and they're all in proof form. Those coins are worth today about what I paid for them back 35 years ago, and the reason is that these collectibles are not really collectible. Why? Because there are too many made. These proof sets from the government mint, they print in the millions, if not billions, and they're not rare. So I went into a coin dealer with the 1987 collection I bought when my daughter was born. I figured these are going to go up in value. They're going to be rare, blah, 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 and I'm going to sell them and then give my daughter the money. That kind of thing. Well, the first time that happened was when she got married about 7 years ago, and they hadn't risen at all. In fact, the coin dealers that I went to two different ones. They wanted to pay me less for the sets than I paid for them in 1987. I said, "What do you mean? They can't go down." And they go, these are there are a million of them out there. I got to make a profit, so if I can't sell them unless I buy them cheaper from you. And this is the game they play. Um, but if something is rare, there's one of them, there's 100 of them, there's 1,000 of them, even 10,000. If there's a million collectors and there's only 10,000 available in perfect condition, then you're going to get a premium for them way above the bullion content. And that is the story I want to tell. If you're trying to protect your wealth, you buy bullion because you can always sell it down the road and it will be worth more than the dollar. If you want offensive leverage, that means buy something cheap, sell it high. And the coins go up about 5 to 8 times faster than bullion do if they're perfect and low mintage and graded MS70. I have a few on my desk. This one happens to be a Black Panther. It's a special silver coin. It's 5 ounces. I paid a lot of money for it. I paid like $900. But these things, and that was last month, or actually 3 weeks ago, and it is now selling for about $1,500. And that's a pretty good return on investment. I could turn right around and get $1,500 for this today. I bought this one a couple weeks ago. It's a cyber, it's just really cool. And it's called Cyborg Revolution. And there's the back, it's pure silver. This is a heavier coin, and this thing is already going up. And in fact, I liked it so much I bought two, one to keep, one to sell. And that's a strategy I use. Here's one that a good friend of mine bought this Statue of Liberty coin for about $600, and now they're selling for anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000, and the list goes on and on. So all I'm saying is when you know what you're doing and what is valuable, you can leverage your money. And now, how liquid are they? Can you walk into a store? Can you walk into a store, a coin shop, and just say, "Here, I want to sell my coins"? And the answer is yes, but they will give you a lower price. But there are third-party sites like Amazon, like what you call it, eBay, and there's another one that we use called Stack and Sell, which it scours the market for actual sales that happened, and then it tells you a market price, and then people can list their coins for sale, and if they price it at the market price or slightly lower, they're going to sell it in seconds. A friend of mine sold one of these Black Panther coins in literally 30 seconds. He had two of them, and he tried to sell one. He listed it for a low price, below the market price by 50 bucks, and it was snapped up in 30 seconds. And the reason that happens is people put watch lists together, and then on these watch lists, then they are able to be notified when somebody puts a coin up for sale that they want, or the price drops on something they're watching. And so when this coin came up for lower than the market, it sold instantly. And the reason I'm telling you all this is to educate you on the fact you can be very liquid with bullion and collectibles if you are part of this membership that Tony and I are in. And of course, Stephen Nagy's in it too. Chris Nagel's in it, a member, because that allows you these tools and the ability to be the first kid on the block to own these kind of coins. And they come in all sizes. This is a George Washington series coin. It came before the Lincoln that Tony showed you, and they sold out.
Yeah, don't get me started on the coin drop, Scott. I freaking log in 2 minutes late and everything's gone already. So I'm setting timers now where I'm there because it's BS in my opinion. But
that's exactly what I was talking about. Okay.
I get so mad. You have no idea.
Hey, if it makes you feel any better, I didn't get any coins on the last coin drop either because they were all sold out by the time I did it. So I'm not always that lucky either. But if you do feel like you're winning the lottery when you get those, and you are, because you're literally giving yourself a chance to print money thanks to having a membership. And nobody else in the world can do this. So this gives you kind of a big head start, and setting your timer does help. So I just wanted to say that a lot of people believe that they're stuck with this stuff. I mean, Tony's got Big Bertha. I swear, I've got to come up with a name for this one that I just got a few weeks ago. But my very first one was this one. So I got to come up with two names. So if you guys want to suggest names for these 100-ounce bars, right now I'm holding about $6,000 in my hand. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying it because it's part of a concerted effort to accumulate. And that's really what you need to do, is have that effort. I buy from my membership. I bought this coin. This is not a coin. Sorry, it's a bar. It's a 1 ounce bar of gold, pure gold. And this is bullion because it's a bar. And in this case, I got about $200 under market price for it, compared to what other people were selling the exact thing for online. So I know that I've got a built-in profit, but let's say gold goes up 10, 20% as the dollar goes down 8%. Well, it's a no-brainer if you're making that kind of return on investment. So I wanted to I'm training you guys who already are members of 7K on this call, things that you have that you may or may not have realized you have, and other people, I'm just curious, how many are interested in perhaps getting into both the offensive and defensive strategies of gold and silver? I'm just curious, just asking the people who are new to the call, please. All right, just the new people, so I can see what people are thinking. Okay, now I'm going to put out a number. Okay, I'm going to give you a phone number, and Stephen will put this in the chat here, and we still got plenty more time to go down a couple question and answer roads. But everybody get ready to write this phone number down, please. It is 651-210-2288. I'll read that again in case you didn't have your pen ready. 651-210-2288. And Stephen will put that in there too. And what I want you to do is text the word 7K. All right, just the number 7, letter K, to be simple. Text that to that phone number. That is, she's working with us to take your calls, and all that we'll do is we'll explain more about what a membership is. But to give you an overview of the membership, I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to Tony, who can spell out what the memberships are, why you want it, what benefits there are.
And real fast, Tony, before you get started on that, just so you guys know the reason, so you can go to the website 7kmetals.com and check it out and all that stuff. But we don't want you guys doing that because we want to make sure that A, you're on our team so we can help you and support you and make sure everything's done right. And also there's a business aspect to this, right? So what we're doing is when we take these calls, if somebody wants to become a member, we're strategically looking at our entire team and where to put you for sort of, just for an example, excuse me, I see Tess on the call right now. So Tess, we had 2 new members join us last week or 2 weeks ago or something like that. Excuse me. So we actually put them under Tess, under her account, because it helps our entire team, but we put them under Tess. So Tess actually became an associate member. And I think she even made a couple $100 off it or something like that, probably gets like a free coin or something. So we'll do that for you guys too. So that's why we want to make sure that you guys are on our team so we can hook you guys up, because I can enroll 100 of you right now, but if I enroll only a couple of you right now, and then the other 98 of you strategically on the team, it's going to make everybody else prosper and do better. And obviously you guys know me, and that's everything that we do all day, every day. So that's why we want you to text first, and then we'll give you the proper member to join under. And if you are joining us, we'll do that for you too. So go ahead, Tony.
Let me say something before Tony gets unmuted, is because I think I can read his lips. He's on another call real quick. Something's going on over there. So let me help you. There is an optional aspect to get paid to refer other members. So let's make this very transparent. Stephen is part of our team. Stephen will get the ability to make a little bit of money as a referral fee for any new members. And so will I, so will Tony, and so forth. But that doesn't change the membership fee. The membership fee is exactly the same regardless, and so whether they're paying commission or not. Also, there's something that happens a lot. Let me educate y'all about something that if you're new to this call. There's I want to talk about American Eagles for a minute. This is a Bullion American Eagle. I have it in a little plastic sleeve, but this is just, I can take it out and just hold it in my hand. And I've got tubes and tubes and tubes of these. All right, like there's 20 of these in here. And you just spread them out, play with them, and they're worth right now about $38 each. Okay, I know the spot price of silver is more like $21 or $22, but their American Eagles have like a $16 to $18 premium. These started being minted in 1986, and if you had bought one silver eagle every single month since 1986, you'd have 430 something of them or something like that by now. And at today's price, that would be worth about $13,000. So had you been on a savings plan monthly where you were just putting a little bit of your cash dollars that are losing value into silver that's holding value, you'd have about $13,000 right now sitting in front of you with all of those coins. However, had you, instead of buying bullion, bought a graded MS70 coin, I'm talking about in a slab like this, graded MS70, then you bought one of those every month, you would have invested about $50,000. That's just a fact, because I told you it had a higher premium for MS70s, okay? Now, that would have been about, if you divide it by 36 years, it comes out to something like $115 a month, okay? Had you put in $115 a month for the last 36 years, instead of having $10,000 or $13,000 worth of bullion, what you would have is all those 400 and some odd MS70 Eagles dating all the way back to the mid 80s they would be worth right now for sale $1,600,000. Now I'm going to say that again for impact value and make sure you heard me right. If you were holding on to the same number of bullion eagles, you got $13,000. If you're holding on to the same amount of MS-70 eagles, you would have 1.6 million. If I have to ask somebody, which would you prefer, then I already know your answer before you even blink. If you're there's no why. And then if I ask you, would you spend $50,000 over the course of 36 years, or let's say 115 a month, to acquire 1.6 million? Would that be a reasonable amount of money to do? And the answer is of course, because we piss away $150 a month on crap. You know, there's just no question about it. You take a family of four to a movie, and good luck getting out for $100. I'm assuming you're eating hot dogs and nachos and popcorn and tickets and all of that. If you're going out to dinner at a decent restaurant, not McDonald's, but a decent restaurant, you're definitely spending $150 a month. So my point is the collectibles leverage so much greater over time, and special low, and they make a lot of eagles. Can you imagine if you had a bunch of these? Then your leverage is through the roof. You could be worth tens of millions of dollars over the next 30 years. So all I'm saying is it's a little change in habit. It's a little redirection. Maybe cut down on a cup of Starbucks every day. Instead of having 3, get 2. You'll save $150 a month like that. Okay. I'm not preaching. I'm just saying, if you guys understand what I'm saying, the membership to be able to acquire these things pays for itself and nothing flat. Just like a Costco membership, you got the standard and you got the business. And the business is more expensive, but that's for business owners that are going in and buying these giant trolleys worth of goods, and then they're sticking them in their vending machines, or they're reselling them somewhere else. That happens. So 7K has a couple different memberships, but that allows you to have a whole lot of benefits over and above the coin collecting, as well as the coin sales, as well as the bullion collecting, the bullion sales, and so forth. Tony, are you free to leverage that just a little further? Go ahead.
Sure. Now, as far as the collectible, I mean, Scott, you did an excellent job as always, as far as explaining why that. But the second reason why people love this particular membership, about 75% of people, they love the fact that they just simply get the membership. It allows them to buy bullion at member direct pricing, and 9 times out of 10, it's going to be the cheapest out there. But the key to that aspect of it, there are no minimums and maximums, because if you've ever bought bullion online, silver eagles, gold eagles, whatever the case may be, the key word you have to look for in a lot of places, they'll say as low as. And as low as means that you're not going to buy one of those coins and get that particular price. You're going to buy 5, you're going to buy 10, you're going to buy 20 of them in order to get that price. The beautiful thing with this membership at 7K for just a few $100s a year, the price is the price, whether you buy 1 coin or whether you buy 1,000. Everybody has a volume discount, and that's one of the things I love. So now it allows everyday people who never believed they could actually save in physical gold and silver. Now they have the ability. If they're used to saving $200 a month, now they can put $200 a month in the silver, $200 a month in the gold, because we allow them to buy fractional silver and gold as well. So, and I love that aspect of it. But the second major reason why people love this company, because it allows them to have that leveraged income. They reward you for building a team or building a network, and we're in the process of helping Stephen build a larger network within the company, and that's one of the reasons why you guys were invited, because again, we want you to see the value of what it is we do. Not only do you have the membership to be able to purchase gold and silver, bullion, as well as the collectible coins, but there's the potential for you to earn some part-time, full-time, in some cases even life-changing income. And one of the things I love, and I'm sure most of you guys on this Zoom are followers of Robert Kiyosaki, and he speaks very highly of our industry of home-based business and network marketing. He's actually written 2 books on this profession. The first one he wrote 20 something years ago. It was once he really figured out the business model. He wrote a book called The Business of People Who Like Helping People. And that's really what it's all about. And its purest form, it is a business model that's designed for people who like helping other people. But then the most impactful book, in my opinion, that he wrote on this profession, he wrote about 12 years ago. And it's entitled The Business of the 21st Century. Now, in that book, now here's a guy I know at one point his net worth was about $300 million. And you would think that a guy who made most of his wealth in the real estate arena, that if he was going to recommend a business to get involved in, that the average person would have a chance to create leveraged income, that you would think he would talk about some aspect as far as real estate. But in the book of The Business of the 21st Century, he said that the average person's best chance in the 21st century to create part-time, full-time, or even life-changing income is in this space of home-based business and network marketing. So that's one reason why I love it, because here's a guy that's become uber wealthy over the last 30 plus years, that not only does he collect gold and silver, matter of fact, he told one of the co-founders of our company that he buys at least $2 million worth of gold every single year, but he endorses the industry because he's seen hundreds of thousands of individuals earn significant leveraged income because they got involved in a company that made a lot of sense, and they leveraged the income, they leveraged the efforts of other people. So again, whatever a person like, I'm a firm believer letting people get in where they fit in. I'm not trying to make someone who wants to be a buyer a builder, and I'm not trying to make someone who wants to be a builder a buyer. You know, I mean, once we find out what a person wants to do, what they're attracted to, then we leverage that. We show them how to do that. And for that reason, we've helped tens of thousands of individuals have success right now in 7 countries. But by the end of the month, we'll be doing business in the 8th country, which will be Mexico. Back to you, Scott.
Thanks. Well said, Tony. It's very clear that people on this call are entrepreneurs, and you might have a lot of plates spinning. So the key is, are you making money and are you preserving your money? If you are, great. The question would then be, do you want to do better? And if you're not, then you got to do something different. So whether you have to do something better or do something differently, then you need to look at your options. I want to share that there are a lot of people on this call right now who I have spoken to over the last few weeks who heard information just like those of you that are new on this are hearing for the first time. They they texted us. We had a pleasant conversation. And by the way, you know who I'm talking to. You're probably listening to me right now. Please feel free to stick something in the chat to corroborate what I'm saying. But we had a nice business discussion about what you wanted to accomplish. Do you want to play defense? Do you want to have an offense? Do you want to do both? And lastly, would you be interested in a part-time, full-time, or life-changing income stream? If if the answer is yes to any of those, we can tailor it to where you want to be. If you never want to tell anybody what you're doing, let's say you're Mr. and Mrs. Private. You don't want anybody to know that you have gold and silver because you know all your friends are scumbags and they're going to come over and rob your safe. All right. Don't tell them. Don't tell them. Whose business is it other than yours? You don't have to tell a single person on planet Earth that you are doing what you're doing as far as collecting collectibles or bullion or both. Remember I told you about that MS-70 program. We have a program as part of SMK where you can set it and forget it. It's called an autosaver program. You get a coin every single month, one of which you can choose from is an MS-70 Eagle. All right. So if you want an MS-70 Eagle, you can get those shipped to you every single month, and you don't even have to worry about it.
Hey, Scott.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I ask you a question? So I started getting these gold paper things just because I was interested in what they are. So I put it one of my autosavers. So well, hold on, let me unblur. But can you just tell me a little bit of, I mean, I honestly don't know what they are. I just got them because I figured they'd be cool to have. So they're like, they got a little gold in them. They got a really cool picture. They're really pretty looking. It's got like this whole thing. So I have so many coins and stuff. I just figured I'd get a few of these just to add to the collection. But can you tell me a little bit about them? Like, do you know anything about them?
Oh, heck yeah, I get them too.
I just wanted to get maybe like half a dozen or so. So I'll probably do it for like 6 months on, because I have several autosavers going right now. But
yeah, there is. I have 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, so you got some.
Yeah,
they're really neat though. I mean, they're beautiful.
Yeah, and they're all different. There's a series of 7, and this is from a famous artist out of he's here in Idaho, or is he in Salt Lake, Tony? I can't remember. He's yeah, and he is Thomas Holden, and he's an artist. He created. He works with stained glass, and these are. I should take it away from the backing. It'd be easier to see. These are his stained glass art that is put onto a special process onto literal gold. This is 22 karat gold foil. It's gold pressed really, really thin, and there's a special process to get the artwork on it. This is graded 70, which is perfect. Okay. Right. Yeah. So if you have this whole series, collectors want to collect the whole series. That's just how they tend to work. You can get a tremendous increase in value of your set because you have a set versus the originals. They are pretty new to the market, Stephen. They just literally came out, I want to say in November, December. And I didn't start collecting them until, 4 months ago. And I do have them, plus I get the autosaver coins. I also get these collectible coins, like something called a state animal. This is an example of a silver MS-70. It's upside down. State animal. These are like $139 a month, but these things are doubling and tripling once they sell out. They're very limited. There's only like 7,000 of them in the world. And when these things sell out, as they do, then the collectors who missed them will pay premiums for them, and that's why the prices rise so much. These notes that you just hold up, the gold note, hasn't yet sold out. So people who become new members can start collecting them. So the prices are pretty stable to where they are right now.
Right.
I noticed Mary put something in about Texas. The state animal for Texas is a longhorn. And when that came out, it was $139, just like they are now. And this was last year. That coin is fair market value at $375 right now. The first coin was a Idaho Appaloosa, and that coin came out for $139, and it is selling for $700 right now. That is the market value. If I had one, I don't have one, but if I put mine up for sale right now for $800, I'd probably get it. But if I put it for $700, absolutely would get it, because that's what people have been paying. I know people asking $1,800 for that coin. Now nobody's buying it for $1,800 because it's so much higher than market value. So what happens is that person is just taking a flyer and saying, hey, if some crazy person wants to give me that, I'll sell it for that much. But otherwise, I want to hold it, because they're not really intending to sell it unless somebody goes nuts and pays them. There's a friend of mine named Emily in Hawaii, and she had 2 of them. So she sold one, and she sold it for $500 when they were going for $500. Had she known they'd be up to $700 within a couple months, she probably wouldn't have sold it. But that's just the nature of the game. But she's not unhappy making 300% on her investment in less than a year. I mean, right. What other investments do that? So that was a really good question. Those are also available on the autosaver. And we'll tell you about that if you call or text that 7K to 651-210-2288. That number Stephen posted. We'll be happy to share more about this. In fact, we can share our computer screen with you, or we can have you log on and we'll show you proof of what market values are and how quickly you can liquidate things. I think the real thing is people get scared when they hear the words networking. Okay. But you tell me what LinkedIn is. LinkedIn is the world's biggest networking platform, and people use it for all kinds of purposes to network. That's what Tony was talking about. It's really nothing different than sharing with people what, something they did not know they didn't know. And by sharing with people, the company will reward you with some commissions. And we'll tell you all about that if you're interested, but please know it's not mandatory. Um, I want to be really clear. It's not like, I can say the name, but like Mary Kay or Amway or Herbalife or any of these companies that you probably heard of that have been around for 50 years. They, they make you buy stuff in order to collect commissions yourself. No, 7K doesn't make you buy anything. If you don't ever want to buy anything with your membership, you don't ever have to buy anything with your membership. But if you want to take advantage of your membership and save money on things that are going to go up, well, good. And there's nobody on this call who will deny that gold and silver go up, period. Nobody. So if you do feel like sharing, then you could get rewarded. But if you don't feel like sharing, it doesn't really matter. The membership is the same either way, no obligation. You don't have to stock your garage full of makeup hoping to resell it to your friends, or diet pills. But here's the point. What if you did have a garage full of gold and silver?
Right.
Would that be a bad thing? I mean, the product that you get with your membership is literal money. I could take this bullion and turn it into money instantly. That's not the case with your creams and lotions and potions and makeup and stuff like that. Now, I'm not putting them down. Everybody, people like Mary Kay. My wife still uses it to this very day. But the reality is she's not a member having to load her garage full of crap. So I just want to take that away from people who might think that this is a kind of a business they don't wish to do. But on the other side, they don't have to do the business. How many of you just say yes in the text chat or the chat room here? Just say yes. If you would have a desire to collect the metals and do nothing else, if that's all you did was let your income rise against the dropping dollar, put a yes in the group.
And while they're doing that, Scott, what I love about this, especially for people that are newer to business or newer to understanding like how to save money on taxes and, taking advantage of different laws that are on the books that, it's hard to take advantage of as like a W-2 employee and things like that, is you can get involved with this, start collecting precious metals, which are just going to help you build wealth into the future. But at the same time, why not start up like an LLC or do a sole member little company for yourself? And then that way, obviously work with an accountant on this stuff to make sure you're doing it legally in your state. And then that way, when you go out to dinner with a friend, just mention, hey, I'm buying precious metals. And if they ask you more about it, then tell them about the membership. If they don't really care, then just let it go. But now you discussed a little bit of business. Now that's a possible tax deduction, driving to the restaurant, writing off the food, all that kind of stuff, right? So you're able to start creating, maybe you have a room in your house that you can make into a home office. Now you're writing off a part of your electric bill, your home expenses and things like that, your cell phone. You start getting all these deductions. So, and it's not hard to do that. You don't have to talk to many people. And even if you want to know, so if you want to learn how to run a business, then you're going to want to learn how to get into sales and negotiating and communication. So that's all positive stuff. And you can use this as a platform to learn all that. Or maybe you just want to start on the tax part. You don't want to sell it all. You never want to talk to anybody about it. Well, don't. Just be like, hey, my friend Stephen does a business building and precious metals webinar every Thursday at 3. Go check it out. And then they come here and then we connect them and we do everything for you. So it's like whatever, like you were saying, if you want no part of it at all, fine. But even if you want a little part of it, it's still very, very easy. Just for all those advantages, it's very easy to send them to us and let us do everything for you. And that's why I love what we're doing with this as far as like the team. And then we have, we have like a WhatsApp group set up. I think I saw you guys setting up a Slack group. There's a Facebook group that one day I'll get going and put more content on. and stuff like that. So there's so much support, so much help, so much positivity. And if you go back to the beginning, if you guys were on at the beginning of this thing, I was playing a video that Evan Carmichael did talking about how it's so important to surround yourself with those kinds of people, successful people. Surround your mind with positivity. It's basically just making those little changes mentally, how much that can change your life. And so, don't be scared. Whatever you want to get out of this, it'll give you 100%. But you got to take action. You got to do something. So let's get you guys on these calls. So text that number that I put in the chat box. Let's talk about it and let's see if it's right for you. And if it's not, I mean, at the very worst case, you get a few pieces of silver or gold and you guys dip out and say, you know what, I'm going to go back to buying Bitcoin. Good luck with that.
Yeah. Hey, there's one other thing that I really do want to mention that is along the lines of the deductions that you were talking about. There's a lot of CPAs and financial planners that are members of 7K, and we talk to them. And one of them is a very famous financial planner named Ray Patterson. And Ray, he studies this like a hawk. He's brilliant. He's very wealthy. And he believes in gold and silver, and he has monster boxes, which is a box that comes with 25 of these tubes of 20. It's 500 eagles, and he buys those regularly. He buys these tubes. He buys gold as well. He has a little bit of both. But he said that the average 401k in America lost 33% of its value in the last 3.5 months. That is sick. It's because of what they invest in, which is usually mutual funds and the stock market. And everybody knows the stock market is poised for one of its most biggest corrections or crashes that you've seen in a long, long time. I'm not saying it will. It's just a question of when, because I know it will. But here's the big answer. If you're losing money in your 401k, most people don't know you can own gold and silver eagles in a 401k and an IRA. That's by law. And that means instead of you losing this money, you're actually gaining money when those metals go up, and they've always gone up over history. One other thing that it means is by law, the gold and silver eagles do not have to be reported when they're bought or sold. And that means if you're buying them, you don't have to tell anybody, including you know who, that you bought them, or that you own them, or that you sold them, or the profit you made on them. Are you hearing what I'm saying, everybody? Let's just say your portfolio went up 20%. And instead of getting taxed 40% of that 20% gain, which really lowers your gain. On the other hand, if you don't get taxed on that by law, then you've just gained the whole 20% and plus the 35% you would have lost, or the 40% you would have lost. That raises your gain to even higher amounts. So what I'm really sharing is it's a no-brainer if anybody has even a little bit of money, because you could put as much or as little in as you want. Now, I know we're almost out of time, so Tony, if you want to add to anything we've been talking about, this would be a good time for you.
Well, I was just looking at, is it Chris? I don't know if I'm saying it correctly. Chris Coleman actually had a couple of questions in the Q&A. How do we check the market value of our coins? That's the beautiful thing about what comes along with the membership. The stack and sell comes along with it, and the stack and sell, like an independent company. Just think of it like an independent auction house, so to speak, that keeps everybody honest between the buyer and the seller. And every coin you'll get from 7K Metals will actually have a barcode on it. So you can actually scan it and it'll show you what you paid for it. And it'll also show you the market value at the same time. And that's just a benefit of having a membership. Well, if you're not a member of the company, to have that membership with Stack and Sell, because now they're opening it up to the general public around the world. And I believe it's going to put a large dent in how people buy online as far as eBay is concerned. Because what most people don't realize, 80% of the false gold and silver in the world is bought on eBay. And so this company is a way to leverage you and also to be able to give you a safe environment, because what they do, they're an independent company that once metal is purchased through them, um, they will actually verify. They have a device that'll tell you if it's pure silver, pure gold. They'll check the condition of it, and you ship your metal to them if you're the seller, and the buyer sends the funds to them. Once they verify it, then they send the coin to the buyer, and they send the funds to you. And so it's a way that you know you're getting exactly what you're paying for, but also on that site at any given time, you can see the price that you pay for it, but you'll also see what the market value of it as well. So it's like you have a running inventory, and you see how your assets are actually growing as we speak. I mean, 20, 30, 40. I mean, there are people that have over 100 and some percent return already in a year's time in their assets because of this particular deal. So I love that aspect of it. So again, that's just one of the benefits of having that membership with 7K.
I saw Colleen asked a question too about training. And I think that's really, really a good question, Colleen. The answer is absolutely, positively yes. As a member, the benefits include training. There's hours and hours and hours of videos in training. Two of the best trainings that you get is one called a buyer's certification, where it makes you an expert on gold and silver bullion in all of its forms and what's the right prices to pay, how do you liquidate, how do you move it, what do you do. It's extremely educational. Then there's another free benefit for members, which is a collector's training, which then gets you up to speed on collectibles of all forms and coins in specific. Specifically, the difference between, let's say, an MS69 and an MS70. An MS70 is perfect, and an MS69 is almost perfect. But they are different because the value in the marketplace for an MS69 is often half of what an MS70 is worth. And so if you had a choice of buying a 69 or a 70, you would want to buy the 70 because the cost is almost the same. Because the dealer will tell you, oh, it's almost perfect, but in reality, you're not going to get as much money out of it. So a well-educated member is a happy member. And there's many, many, many more trainings included. Awesome. And again, I see you just posted, what does M69 or 70 refer to? It's a grading scale that coin graders have come up with. And 70 MS, mint state, or PF, proof, 70 means no flaws, no fingerprints, no scratches, nothing, absolutely perfect as the way the mint meant it to be. 69 means there's some kind of flaw, but it's so tiny you wouldn't even probably notice it with your own eye because they use a 5 times magnifying glass. Again, this is all included in the training, so I don't want to retrain people for stuff they're going to get anyway. But since you asked, that a 69 just means it's not a 70, and a 68 means it's not a 70. A 69. 67 means it's not a 68. So if you get down to 60, it's basically almost bullion. Seriously. And when I first started collecting collectible coins, I saw somebody put something like an 1891 penny or something like that. When I have silver dollars, I have gold pieces back from the Wild West in the 1800s, but they're MS60s. And at the time, I didn't know anything about collecting, and the people who sold them told me, said, oh, that means they're really special. Well, I go to dealers today, and they go, it's 60. This is ugly. It's bullion, basically. I'll give you the price of bullion, and it was not a good investment. A 70 goes crazy. A best way I can put it to you is if you had a Mickey Mantle baseball card and the corners are bent, you get $100 from some fan. But if corners weren't bent and it was crystal clear and everything was centered and it's graded perfect, then you could sell that through auction for like 3.6 million. So the condition is critical when you're collecting. I hope I've made that clear. And we'll teach you more and more about that. But when you're on the autosaver, you only get 70s. They only ship you MS 70s. If it's not perfect, they won't ship it. They'll send it back to the mint, and the company doesn't do that. Also, one last thing about Bullion, the company only sells from inventory. So that means they're not using your money to go out and then buy something for cheaper and then keep the difference, which is what a lot of online dealers do. It's very shady practice. I've had it happen to me. Tony has had it happen to him. These people, it's unscrupulous, but this company sells from inventory. If they don't have it, they won't sell it. And by the way, their prices change. This company buys at different prices from the source, and so you get dealer direct pricing. Whatever the company paid, that's what they charge you for bullion. They do make a markup on collectibles, very slight, very modest, and they do make a markup on memberships, because the memberships is a lot of training and it's a lot of ability. It's a lot of free memberships to websites. The value is there, but there's a little profit. And so the company can pay commissions, and that is the business end if you want them. If you never do that, that's perfectly fine. You're in good shape.
Yeah, man, it's great stuff. And somebody's just asking about using their IRA. So when you use an IRA to buy these, it has to be self-directed, obviously, which Chris, I know you know about. We've talked about that. So it's just a matter of filling out the proper form, and it needs to be the right type of precious metals. So like silver eagles are allowed. They don't allow bullion, they don't allow collectibles, but those are the most popular. So yeah, we can definitely do that. And maybe we can focus the training next week about that, or maybe I'll just put together a video that we can just send out to everybody. But we'll talk about that. I'll do it one way or another some point next week. Like I said, I got to go to Miami first thing in the morning. I'll be there this weekend, but beginning of next week, I'll put together either a video or plan out the training for this, where we take like half of this and go through buying with the self-directed IRA.
All right. And Chris, the way you hold them is through a neutral third party. You don't take possession.
Yeah.
So you would use a company like Horizon Trust or something like that to handle that. And they've been working with 7K for Stephen's group. So, talk to Stephen, talk to us. We'll help direct you down the path on how you can get your self-directed IRA with gold or silver eagles. And there are rules, and we'll make sure that they're followed, but that's how you do those.
All right, awesome, man. Well, I think that was really good. We're right out of time, so let's. So thanks, Scott, Tony, for being here. I just put the message over in the comment again. Just text 7K to 651-210-2288, and we'll get you. We'll chat with you on the phone for a few, answer any questions, and get you the correct membership link, and get you off and running. And please let me know if I can help you guys at all as well. And I know a lot of you will be talking with Scott. So thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate your time, and thanks for inviting us, Stephen.
Yeah, definitely. We'll see you guys. Thanks, Tony. We'll see you guys next week.
Most definitely.
All right, cheers.